Welcome to our service of worship and reflection for Sunday, September the 19th, 2021. We welcome you as friends and visitors. We welcome you as the followers of Jesus and the beloved children of God. We continue to gather weekly for our in-sanctuary services of worship each Sunday at 10:30 a.m. If you wish to join us, give me a call or drop me an email or a message on Facebook to reserve your spot. There is a place for you here. And even though we will be gathering each week in sanctuary, we will continue to offer our service of worship and reflection here on this online platform so that we can continue our connection with our wider community of faith that reaches out into our community and across time zones. Wherever you are today, in your home, in our sanctuary, living close by or farther away, we are delighted to have you join us for our time of worship this day. And so on behalf of all of us at Westside United Church here in Penn, Nova Scotia, welcome. Long before those of us who are settlers and those of us who are descendants of settlers came to this land, there were people already here, indigenous people who called this land their land, the land that we call today Canada. Many nations of people lived here and continue to live here on the land, and they were given responsibility by the Great Spirit, by the Creator, to be stewards of the land and all that is in and on the land. So we give thanks for the indigenous people of this land. And let us remember that we worship God on the historic territory of the Mi'kmaq people. As Christ's people, let us be people of love, of truth, and reconciliation. As we prepare our hearts to be united in worship this day, let us take a few moments of silence. Breathe deeply and steadily. With each breath that you take, bring yourself into unity with all that is surrounding you and into the sacred presence of the Spirit. So let us breathe, and as while we breathe, we'll light our candles to celebrate God's presence in our midst and to remind ourselves that we are called to be the people who follow the ministry and the example of Jesus, to live broadly and love abundantly. We gather to celebrate the ways in which God is alive in our midst, to find our strength renewed through expressions of our faith, to know the security of God's surrounding love, to find meaning in the challenges that face us. Through Jesus, the heart and mind of God, we come to worship. Let us pray. Come into our gathering, God, and bless us in our worship. Where there is boredom, bring excitement. Where there is doubt, bring faith. Where there is despair, bring hope. When we wish to hang back, bring a sense of adventure. For we seek the renewal only you can bring to our lives, to our church, to our world. In the name of Jesus, may the Spirit, your Spirit of God, be among us. Amen. Over the past couple of weeks, I've been watching the beautiful green ferns surrounding our home transition from a green to a dark rust color. A sign that creation is moving into a new season. I've been noticing that the nectar in our hummingbird feeders has not been disappearing. A sign to me that creation is transitioning into a new season. Every time I sit and pause and reflect on the abundance of trees starting to display their autumn splendor, I am greeted by an equally abundance of dragonflies. A sign for me to know that creation is in a time of transition. I notice as the days in the month of September gradually increase in number, we're moving towards the first day of autumn. A new time, a new season. What is in store for us? Being surrounded by so much transition and change in creation and in our lives, I could not help but think about our own seasons of transition and change. When we are in transition and change, what do we hold on to that is important? What do we hold on to that is necessary? What do we need to let go? What needs to die? What needs to be resurrected? As I look forward for our ministry, I look back. I look back to the moment when the early followers of Jesus became inspired to carry on his message into the world. Listen to these familiar words of Scripture from the Gospel of John. Mary stood outside of the tomb, weeping. And as she wept, she bent over to look into the tomb. And she saw two angels in white sitting where the body of Jesus had been lying, one at the head and the other at the foot. The angels said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" And she said to them, "They've taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they've laid him." When she said this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, but she didn't know that it was him. And then Jesus said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you looking for?" Mary thought he was the gardener. And so she said to him, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have laid him, and then I will take him away." And then Jesus said to Mary, "Mary." And she turned and said to him in Hebrew, "Rabboni," which means teacher. Jesus said to her, "Do not hold on to me, because I have not yet ascended into the presence of God. But I want you to go to my brothers and say to them that I am ascending to my God and to your God." Mary Magdalene went and announced to the disciples, "I have seen the Lord." And she told them what Jesus had said to her. She told them everything. In this season of transition and change, in which we find ourselves currently within our calendar year, but also within our time of faith, within our community of faith, we recognize that there's always that chance, always that opportunity for new life, for resurrection, for something old to be transitioned into something new, something exciting. We are in a pivotal time within our time of ministry together here at Westside United Church. Creating a new church, creating a new vision, a new mission is not something new to who we are or where we are. It has been the story of the church for countless generations. The church who are the followers of Jesus Christ, the people who have been blessed and inspired by the Spirit of God, are asked continuously to remind themselves of how the Spirit is renewing them and recreating them and inviting them into an exciting opportunity to find new ways, exciting ways, to share the message and to be the people of God, the disciples of Christ in the world. But sometimes those changes come with risks. Sometimes those changes come with difficult decisions. Sometimes those changes come by letting go and letting certain things die, so that new life, new ministry can grow and flourish and be where God is calling us to be. In a couple of weeks, one of the exercises that I will be doing in our gardens, which I'm sure some of you are already planning, is how to plant those bulbs, those fall bulbs, the tulips, the daffodils, the crocuses, and a wide assortment of other fall bulbs. We carefully find the colors and place them in our gardens in the fall season of the year. And then we plant them, and then we wait. We have to wait in order for the spring to come, for those plants to percolate under the soil. And when the season is right, then they will emerge. They'll emerge from the cold soil that once was, and gradually reach towards the sky, and eventually produce blooms. It's not an easy task waiting all those months for those wonderful spring blooms to come into our midst. But we need to be patient. We need to let creation take care of those bulbs. Take care of them until they are at a right point in their life to burst forth, to create new life, and to bring us that pleasure of joy from the sights of those beautiful colors that arrive in spring. But to get there, we need to plant, we need to wait, and we need to be patient. And sometimes that is the way we are as the people of faith. That sometimes we need to plant seeds today in our calling and in our exercising and in our fulfillment of our calling as the people of God and the disciples of Jesus in the world today. We need to plant seeds. We need to start sowing seeds in our midst to find out what is going to grow. And we also need to be patient. We also need to be patient with God and allow God to work through us and through our ideas. Come next spring, we may be surprised in the ways in which the flowers grow and how they bloom and what colors they produce. And the same thing is true for us in our ministry. It will take time for us to work into this new calling that God is offering to us, that the Spirit is leading us into. We may not know what it looks like. We may be surprised. But we know that if we trust God to lead us, let the Spirit work within us, amazing things can happen. As we as a community of faith continue to work through this time of transition and change and adaptation, let us hold on to the Easter story, the story of hope, the story of resurrection, the story of new life. And also be mindful that as God called those early disciples, those early women and men, to carry on his message, may that also be our calling, to find a way to go and tell and to share the wonderful story. Not just the story of our past, but the story of how we can be an example of new life and hope and generosity and love. With a sense of openness, with a sense of joy, with a sense of adventure, let us enter into these new days, this time of transition, this new season of life and faith and ministry that we are being gifted with. Let the Spirit move us, guide us, inspire us for the journey ahead. Let us join our hearts together in prayer. God of abundant surprises, of tremendous amazement, of mysterious ways. We're not always certain in the ways in which you are calling us. We're not always certain when we think we have it all figured out, and then we surprise ourselves to acknowledge that you might have a different plan. Allow us to embrace that sense of openness within ourselves, that sense of openness that you ask us to be as a community of faith, as your people, as your disciples in the world. Help us to be open to new possibilities, to new adventures, to new ways of doing things. Help us to be brave enough to let go of some things. Let them die. Let them die so that resurrection and new life can emerge. We may not always be happy to let things go, but may we see that as a sense of courage, a sense of trust in you. A sense and trust in you that you are guiding us in the right direction. And help us to be patient. Help us to be increased in the level of understanding that we may not know the answers right today. But those answers, they may come revealed to us in time. So help us to trust. Help us to take courageous steps forward, even if they are unknown. But help us to be open to the leading and the guiding of your Spirit. May we acknowledge that maybe we haven't done things right and good and proper in the past. And then in this season of transition and change and this opportunity of entering into a new season of life, may we be able to explore those new areas, those uncharted territories, chart new paths, see new hopes, explore new visions, be enthused about being called as the people of faith in this community, the ones who live the resurrection story, the story of Easter, the story of hope, the story of joy, of how to be the followers of Jesus in the world today. Through our ministry, through the ministry of a group, of an individual, as our collective group, may we move forward with the sense that we have a calling. We have a mission. We have a ministry still in this place and among our people, with you among us. Help us continue to be a place where all are welcome, where questions can be answered, where love can be felt, where welcome and hospitality are an extension of who we are. Help us to find more profound ways of reaching out into the lives of others, particularly those who are alone and grieving and ill. Help us to find ways to explore new mission in our community and purpose in the world, finding unity and sacredness and moments of grace that inspire us to sing the joyful song that we are an Easter people, the people of the resurrection, people of new hope and new life. May your Spirit be among us, discerning and guiding and inspiring us in the decisions we make and in the visions of what we dream. We ask your presence and your Spirit, O God, to be with us, to be upon us and our ministry. We offer these words to you, these prayers, these images, and our ministry into your tender care, your loving attention, as we unite our hearts and our voices together in the prayer that Jesus inspired his followers to pray to you, O God, our source of love, our Creator, our Mother, our Father, who art in heaven. Hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation. Deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. A couple of announcements I'd like to share with you today about our life and our work that happens all the times between our times of worship. Just to note that tomorrow, on September the 20th, is the federal election day. And we hope that everyone, as much as possible, has either gone to the advance polls, mailed in your voting ballots, or if you're in our community, you may be coming to our building to vote. And we hope that you exercise that right and that privilege of getting out and making your mark about how our leadership for our country is being brought in together to create something that is good and hopeful for our country. Our building is being used as a polling station for the election. So our building is closed for the day so that piece of work can be done for our country and our democracy. So just keep in mind that our building is unavailable to everyone on September the 20th. We'd also like to share with you that in the evening of September 21st, that's Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock, there is a congregational meeting here. And this congregational meeting is for us to engage in conversation and make decisions about entering into a shared ministry with Bridgewater United Church. So that is September the 20th, Tuesday night, at 7 o'clock here in the sanctuary. Once again, we are offering our weekly in-sanctuary worship services at 10:30 here at Westside. And if you'd like to have your spot reserved, contact me. Would love to hear from you. We'd love to have you in here. And even though we are worshiping, as I mentioned earlier, we're continuing to post our services on our online platform, both on our website and our Facebook page. Today, that's September the 19th, is the last day to place your orders and your payment for your grocery cards orders. This is the September round. Our next round will be in November, so keep that in mind. If you don't know about our grocery card orders and how to order them and how it benefits us here at Westside United Church, talk to us. Talk to the member of the fundraising committee, talk to a member of the congregation who is involved in it, who has participated in it, or talk to me. We'd love to share with you more information about our grocery card program. And our order forms have helpful information. Last week we mentioned, and again this week we are excited to welcome Donna Kelly into our ministry here at Westside United Church as a student minister, who will be with us for the next 8 months as she begins her studies at the Atlantic School of Theology. We look forward to her sharing her time of study with us and the opportunity for us to share our gifts with her and get to know each other. We wish to also express gratitude to each and every one of you when you share your gifts with us. Whether you're offering your gifts of time and talents or treasures, whether you attend worship and create a wonderful space in here for us to be together as a community of faith, or through your donations. We want to thank you with affirmation and gratitude for the ways in which you support our ministry here at Westside United Church and throughout the world. If you're thinking about considering gifting us with a financial gift, we invite you to do so in a variety of ways. You can go to our website and you'll find the donate button. Or you can mail it to us through Canada Post. And our address is 2702 Highway 331 in Penn, Nova Scotia. Our postal code is B0R1G0. You can drop it off to the mailbox on the exterior part of our church by our main doors. Or you can send an email to me to inquire about how to do an e-transfer. And our email address is one word, westsideunitedchurch@gmail.com. Each gift that you bless us with makes a difference, not just to our ministry, but to the ministry who we are reaching out to in our communities. The people who we minister among benefit from all the gifts that you offer to us. So your gifts continue to inspire us to be a joyful part of the ministry that we offer to our community and to many around the world. Through the sharing of your blessings, we continue to be a blessing to many. Thank you. So let us prepare ourselves to draw our time together to a close. And as we draw our time together to a close, I invite us just to remind ourselves about our breathing in the presence of God. And as we exhale, may we breathe love into the world. Breathe in the presence of the Spirit. And as we exhale, may we breathe hope into the world. Breathe in the presence of Jesus. And as we exhale, may we breathe unity into the world. So breathe in and exhale. Go from this time. Go into the world and celebrate the ways God is calling us to be. To be the people who bring new life and hope to others.